Okay. Hi, everyone. Right. I think people will probably start trickling in, but we'll get started. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Unlocking Success, building a robust Power Platform Center of Excellence and Governance Framework. In today's session, in today's webinar, you'll have myself, Vasily, and Toby, who'll walk you through some really important topics when thinking about your COE strategy. Let's start with a few quick introductions. I'll start. I'm Mac. I started off as a SharePoint developer way back, and got into the Power Platform very early in its release cycle, and I've seen it improve a lot, and I've seen the substantial value that clients have taken from it, and I've worked with many clients guiding them through their COE journey, and I'm very interested in new features. In particular, we'll actually cover managed environments, which we'll discuss more later in the webinar. Vasilina.
Hello, I'm Vasilina. I also started as Power Platform developer. At the moment, I'm a senior Power Platform consultant, and over the past few years, I've been focused mainly on COE projects. What I really like about my job is not just a specific tool or technology within the Power Platform, but rather guiding organizations through their COE journey and witnessing their growth and development. Toby?
Hi, Ron. So yeah, I'm also a senior Power Platform consultant here at WM Reply. My focus has mainly been for the last couple of years building on top of the starter kit and sort of trying to plug the gaps where there's extra functionality that people require. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus when I start talking later on.
Cool. Thanks, guys. So in terms of the agenda, in the next 45 minutes or so, we will cover the following. Firstly, fundamentals of the Power Platform COE, really just understanding the justifications of creating COE, breaking down the benefits for your organization, and understanding what are the different components of the COE starter kit. Secondly, we'll be looking at establishing an environment strategy. What are the key steps? Actually, if not, this is establishing an environment strategy is probably the most important step that you need to start with. And we'll go into a bit more detail around that. We'll also look at DLP best practices. We need to ensure with a lot of configuration that we're doing that actually we need to ensure security is in the heart of the design. Another important topic is extending the COE journey. You may be further along your COE journey and you're looking at ways to extend and customize your COE. So we'll look at ways of how we've done that. To continue, we'll also be introducing a set of our own WM Reply COE applications that we have built over the years and have helped our clients. And finally, a brief run through on what we can offer as Power Platform subject matter experts. And we'll finish off with Q&A. So understanding the fundamentals of a COE, why would you want a Power Platform COE? A common issue we encounter is the development of apps and workflows without any clear guidance. And many of these solutions start to become quick fixes. And after that, they become quickly part of a crucial BAU business operations. However, without any proper governance, they start to accumulate technical debt, which essentially means more effort down the line and more costs down the line. And we need to be able to mitigate that as much as possible. The other is Power Platform can also act as a agent of change, a catalyst for digital change. Its rapid application development capabilities actually helps reduce time to market. So it reduces the development time to production. It enhances business agility and also enables organizations to adapt quickly to really evolving requirements. And Power Platform is a low-code tool and it's extremely accessible to non-IT users. The other is people. I think people are really keen learners, and being able to empower your workforce through the utilization of Power Platform not only reduces that dependency on IT that we all know, but it also cultivates a culture of continuous learning and upskilling. By By providing your employees to be able to create applications, be able to automate workflows, and analyze data, you're actually giving them the entire ownership of their own work, which is for a lot of clients extremely valuable. And lastly, being able to actually do more with a lot less than you might have. We have seen over the year that perhaps there are some tighter budgets, and you're having to do with what you currently have in terms of licenses. Actually, with Power Platform, you can extract as much value from it, because with existing E3 or E5 licenses, you can actually start creating apps, flows, and you can have access to standard connectors, allowing you to start developing without many barriers. So these are the sort of things that you really should think about when undertaking a Power Platform COE. Excuse me. So the COE starter kit. So for those of you that don't know, it's basically a set of applications that the PowerCat team have created. It's totally free, and it offers a comprehensive management of the Power Platform. It actually supplements the Power Platform Admin Center and allows for further customization. The kit provides you with several views and insights on apps, flows, environments, connectors. It can even guide you through how many times an app has been launched, how many times it's been shared with. So these are really key sort of insights that you can use to drive governance, and it addresses a lot of common admin concerns, and it really facilitates that whole audit and compliance process. Generally, in the COE starter kit, you have four major components. Excuse me. You have the core components. So these components are the most fundamental element of the COE starter kit. And as they serve as pretty much the engine to gather as much information, inventory data regarding your Power Platform environments. So these data are then managed, organized, and stored in Dataverse entities ready to be used in monitoring or other Power App solutions that you might have. The other is governance components. These include and will help you run and manage activities such as compliancy, environment creation process, managing housekeeping, such as being able to manage things like applications or flows that no longer have an owner, or the owner has left the company, or applications or idle applications that haven't been used in a while, being able to just archive those somehow and creating more space for your environment. The other is nurture components, which are ready-made components to help you start building exposure and adoption for Power Platform. So these include things like galleries, innovation backlogs, trading in a day, assets, and also welcome emails. I think that's very useful in nurturing beginner citizen developers. Lastly, you can extend solutions that are actually within those components to fit your own requirements. You can look at how to best manage security roles, understanding and give you better visibility on who has elevated access. Another perhaps that's been extremely useful for us over the past few years is a way to manage service accounts. As you start to develop, you need to create service account dedicated for solutions. How do you then start to manage that so developers and owners have full sort of audit around that and full security? So you can start to think of tools like this to provide structure to your COE. As I said before, ensuring that you have established environment strategy will already provide you with a really strong footing moving forward with governance. And the environment strategy is going to be central to your framework, and it will be something that you always look back to when you're implementing new features or enabling new tools within the Power Platform stack. A few basic, here's a sample one that we've used before, but a few basics that you should be doing already. You should be restricting the creation of net new trial environments or production environments to admins only, so you have full control. Treat the default environment as a personal productivity environment, and rename that to something more applicable to you. And at the very beginning, establish a process of requesting access of creation environments. This could be through something like a ticketing system, a ServiceNow system, anything that would just help alleviate that demand for environments. The other is disabled developer environments. These are environments, they tend to be called your name and then environment. So for example, it'd be Max environment. Disabling this just stops the sprawl of environments, just because it can be overwhelming to have so many. Disable that, and start to create something similar to what you see now as sample environment. The ones that you see here, it's differentiated based on complexity of applications being created and also developer type. You'll find that we've used the developer environment, the default environment, we've called it personal productivity, for people to start exploring and tinkering with apps and flows. We then have created a centralized dev UAT in production where people can request access to, but these environments which are have a dedicated dev for testing and production, they're essentially their purpose is for maybe medium to complex solutions that you may want to share with teams or smaller departments. And the other one is maybe project specific environments. These environments are more for much larger enterprise ready solutions built in the Power Platform. They might be differentiated because of data classification. It could be also a configuration outside the normal governed environments that they might need, providing that a security review has been done. So think about the different differentiation, and lots of people have taken a different approach to this. I guess this is just a sample one. With regards to environment strategy, there's a few things that may impact how you start to build and implement one. One of them is managed environments. Um, Managed environments, like I said, it's a really interesting topic for me, but it's one of the most significant features that have affected environment strategy, and it's provided some headaches for us, and it made us rethink some of the environment strategies that we've implemented 2 years ago. And a better way of putting it is, how can we accommodate managed environments in our existing environment strategy? For those of you that don't know, managed environments is just a setting. It's a set of, once you enable it, it's a set of premium tools that help admins manage the Power Platform more easily and effectively. And with managed environments, admins can control and oversee the platform at scale with a lot less hassle. There are some overlapping features with the COE Starter Kit, but managed environments shouldn't be a substitute to the COE Starter Kit. Actually, they can work together, providing you understand the features that they offer. Currently, as of this month, this is a ever sort of evolving list. This is the feature list for managed environments. It has been growing over the last 6 months, and some very interesting features that can unlock governance and development value. To name a few, pipelines in Power Platform, the DLP for desktop flows have been extremely valuable for making business cases for a better, simpler ALM. And also for DLP for desktop flows, better visibility and security for Power Automate desktop actions in RPA. So actually the former around pipelines in Power Platform, that's something of a quick win. If you can get a justification to be able to enable those in your environment strategy, due to the ease of installing it, I think it took us about 20 to 30 minutes to install it, and the distribution access, I guess the security role distribution, it's extremely useful, as we can sort of use out of the box security roles. And also you can extend it to create pre-deployment conditions, add an approval before it gets moved to production, for example, and add post-deployment notification. Once it's deployed, you can actually use Power Automate to say it's been deployed to the developer. So going into a bit more detail around pipelines in Power Platform, I think ALM forms a very crucial role in the success of certain projects. The swifter that deployment iteration, towards production, the healthier generally the project is. And previously, ALM is commonly facilitated by Azure pipelines or Azure DevOps with a Git repository. These approaches can be complex if you don't know the basics and fundamentals of them, but you can also use an ALM accelerator, which is also created by the PowerCat team. Again, this has some level of complexity to configure, but it does work. Pipelines in the Power Platform make a lot of that managing life cycles a lot simpler for customers, simpler for makers, simpler for admins and developers. So with pipelines, we can actually install it without needing much extensive configuration. So admins can set up automated deployment pipelines quickly. Typically, you would need 4. So you have the host and then the dev, UAT, production for the upstream deployment. Makers can deploy the solution easily with a user-friendly interface, as you can see in the screen. You no longer need to come away from the same interface. Everything is done within the solution. You can easily also allow, like I said, pipelines to utilize existing security roles. There's new security roles called pipeline admins that would probably be reserved for the COE team and also pipeline user. By allowing that, they have instant access to the pipeline. So how does managed environment actually impact the environment strategy? For those of you that adopted a very similar strategy to the left, and have done for years, you may be less inclined to disrupt a very well-ordered environment setup. You may also be a bit discouraged from disrupting solutions that reside in those environments. The key challenges that you will face in turning on managed environments is that any apps and flows already within those environments will become premium and will be considered as premium to develop and maintain. All of a sudden, you've gone from no cost to an overhead to run that solution. As you agree, that's a huge risk and it's very difficult to justify. What you can look to adopt is a managed environment as an extension to our environment strategy. Create a separate centralized dev, UAT, and production environments that have managed environments enabled. Invite solution owners that reside in other environments to migrate, providing that they already use licenses to run their solutions. No extra cost for them, and this just makes sense. And moving forward, you can actually start to direct new customers that are premium to use these new environments. Again, to just sort of reiterate, it's really important. I think we've had so many discussions around this. I think managed environments has some great features, as you see in that list before, but I obviously want to make it sure that some of the limitations is that once enabled in an existing environment, it makes everything, apps, flows, resources in there premium to run. So something just to kind of think about when you're looking at managed environments. Vasilina, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. In this section, we'll discuss implementing data loss prevention best practices within the Power Platform. We want to quickly cover this topic because ensuring the security and integrity of the data is paramount. For those unfamiliar, DLP or data loss prevention is a strategy focused on safeguarding sensitive data from unauthorized access. Let's explore how to effectively implement DLP policies, starting with connector classification. Within the Power Platform, connectors are grouped into 3 main categories. First, we have business connectors. These are approved for organizational use and interact with trusted data sources such as Microsoft 365. Next, we have non-business connectors. These connectors may pose certain risks to data security or compliance, so their usage may be restricted. Examples include connectors for social media platforms or personal cloud storage. Lastly, we have blocked connectors. These connectors are strictly prohibited from use within the organization due to significant security or compliance risks. Examples include connectors for unauthorized third-party applications. And now that we've covered connector classification, let's explore how to implement effective data loss prevention policies within the Power Platform. First of all, secure the default environment with a conservative DLP policy. As all users with the standard Power Apps or Power Automate license have access to the default environment with the environment maker role assigned, and many arrive at the default environment with no prior training. And they cannot be blocked from creating apps or flows. So it's really important to restrict their capabilities to mitigate risks posed by inexperienced users. Then implement tailored DLP policies for new environments. We recommend customizing DLP policies for each new environment to ensure compliance and data protection. Establish policies before makers begin using the environments, tailoring based on data security and intended use. Then refine connectors, endpoints, and actions in DLP policies. All blockable connectors can have specific actions blocked while allowing others. Others can also allow or deny specific endpoints. So you may consider limiting their usage, for example, when transitioning a blockable connector into the business category. Utilize shared DLP policy to ensure consistency across development, testing, and production environments. Implementing consistent policies helps maintain compliance standards across all stages of application lifecycle. Of course, check before modifying existing DLP policies. We recommend using standard COE tool called DLP editor to run an impact analysis before making changes in the data policy to identify specific apps and flows that may be affected. And you can inform the creators of these apps and flows and work together to find a resolution. And you can enhance governance error message with admin contact details. When a maker saves an app or flow that is no DLP policy compliant, they receive a governance error message. So we can utilize specific script to update this message, providing contact details for resolution. And this can be really helpful. And when your DLP policy are in place, it's time to create a process that will help you managing changes in DLP. But we don't need to start from scratch. We usually start with standard CVE flows and enhance them based on the client's requirements. One of the processes we've created is a flow that runs daily to check if there are new connectors in each DLP group, comparing with existing connectors in Dataverse. If flow detects new connectors or new DLP policies or changes in current policies, it sends an email with all the details. And this proactive approach ensures timely identification and response to changes, enhancing DLP governance and compliance. But planning DLP strategy on your tenants, make sure that you consider desktop flows usage because their process is a bit different. First of all, to see the desktop actions in DLP policies, you need to enable them in your admin center. And what's more important, enforcement of DLP policies is available for managed environments only. And starting from April 2024, only desktop flows that are located in managed environments will be evaluated by DLP policies. So make sure you remember this and plan it in your DLP strategy. In the next section, we'll delve into extending the COE Starter Kit, exploring how you can customize it to fit your organization's specific requirements and enhance its functionality. And when you start working with COE as a Microsoft Power Platform admin, it's essential to have a comprehensive understanding of how your organization utilizes different tools like Power Apps and Power Automate. This insight not only helps in governing and securing the platform, but also in identifying trends and supporting makers to boost adoption. Well, the default analytics provided by the Admin Center offers valuable insights into usage at the environment level over the past 28 days. As your organization's usage grows, you may find the need for more detailed and customized analytics. And this is where the COE Starter Kit's Power BI dashboard becomes invaluable. It provides a holistic view with visualizations and insights into various resources such as environments, apps, flows, connectors, makers, and audit logs. The telemetry from the audit log is particularly valuable as it allows you to track trends and analyze historical data beyond the default 28-day period. But what makes the COE Starter Kit's Power BI dashboard truly powerful is its flexibility. It can serve as a starting point, offering a foundation upon which you can build customizations tailored to your organization's specific needs. For example, we can extend the dashboard to include additional pages for monitoring security roles, Dataverse capacity, AA Builder credits usage, housekeeping analytics, DLP and connectors data, or analyzing performance metrics. And let's take monitoring security roles as an example. On this page, you can showcase various key metrics and insights related to security roles within your organization. This could include overview of security roles. We can provide a summary of all security roles configured within the tenant, including user assigned, their names and description, total number of roles on the tenant, their different types, different filters by username, role, environment, or environment type. And by leveraging the security roles monitoring page, you can effectively track, manage, and optimize security roles within your organization's tenants. And this was just one example. But by using and enhancing your tenant dashboard, you unlock a multiple of benefits. First of all, centralized monitoring. You get a single hub offering a bird's eye view of Power Platform usage. You can easily track security roles, environments, apps, and flows, and all from one convenient location. Data-driven decision-making. The dashboard empowers your team with actionable insights gleaned from analytics. With the data at your fingertips, you can make strategic decisions that drive your business forward. Proactive management. You can spot potential issues early by keeping an eye on security roles and other vital metrics. And by addressing problems early, we ensure smooth operations and peak performance. And of course, resource allocation. With the dashboard, you can allocate resources smartly based on usage and demand trends. This means you invest your resources where they're needed most, maximizing efficiency and return on investment. And now we'll cover another important part of COE, housekeeping process. Toby, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just going to dive into building a specific sort of custom housekeeping solution. So here we've got a few different areas of how we might flag resources which need some sort of action taken. So it's based on what needs to happen to them or the steps that we need to take in order to manage them. So on here we might have things in our tenant that are not used, but they do have a valid owner, or things that aren't used and they don't have a valid owner. So for those, just like the steps we take are slightly different. And then finally, things that we are using, but they don't currently have a valid owner. So we call those orphaned resources. That's where someone might have left the business, and we need to do something to ensure that people don't lose their access. So looking into how we might manage these, once we have flagged things that we potentially need to perform actions on, we've got these things called Teams adaptive cards, which are essentially interactive messages that we can send to people in Teams. And it allows us to get a quick, easy response from people rather than having them have to open up an app or a SharePoint site somewhere. They can do it right from their Teams inbox. And they look a bit like those messages on the screen. We've got quite a lot of control around the design and appearance of them, but that's just an example. So there we've got like a multiple selection dialog to click on the apps or flows that have been highlighted from this housekeeping process, and then you'd submit those selections. And then if we go on to the next screen, you can see we can send like a confirmation dialog just to present to you what you've selected and say, yeah, I'm happy with those. Submit that, and then you'll receive a receipt. And obviously we can send like an email receipt as well, so that you've also got that paper trail that you can go back to. But yeah, that's just an example of how we might easily act upon things that we flag and get quick, easy responses out of our users. Okay, now we're going to move on to leveraging WM Reply's own COA applications. So we're going to look at a couple specific custom applications now, starting off with this first one, which is just a sort of a concept idea that's building upon something we have actually delivered previously. But the idea is to tackle a standard problem that is often faced as you scale up your citizen developer academies. And that's as the platform grows, it becomes difficult for citizen developers to track what's available, to share best practices, and to learn from each other. So the purpose of this app is to give citizen developers like a front door to facilitate the access and management and reusability of tools that are built within the platform, and create a space for them to connect with each other and access the available resources. So you can see that's broken down into those 3 main problem areas there, which is confusion around how to access what's available or access support, confusion about how to manage things that you have built and make them available to other developers, and also gaining feedback and insights on their usage. And that applies to me as a builder, but also to like the senior management team or the upper levels of the business as well. Okay, so the features of the app are around these key areas. So as I said, access management to make it easy for users to browse and request access to templates. We're going to integrate AI where possible to augment the tagging and searching side of that. Then community integration. So we'd like to link in with Viva Engage just to surface any updates and relevant information that's hit the platform or the academy recently. The enrollment side of things, so getting people involved with the CD enrollment program, and also just providing the next steps in that journey and facilitating that journey. And then the reporting side of it, so to see how your resources are doing, but also for the company to view how the platform is growing over time. Here's a sneak peek of what that could look like. So in the middle, we've got that Viva Engage feed that I mentioned. So it might be new features available, or there's a problem has been raised. Just let everyone know about that. And you don't need to manage it in like a separate place. So if you've already got a Viva Engage community that's talking about it, this means you don't have to manage 2 areas for the same information. And then on the left-hand side, we've got the profile information for the person who's logged in. So maybe what level you're at or how many things you've contributed to the academy so far. And then your navigation as well. So adding new things or finding the gallery. And on the right-hand side, we've got some high-level stats of the new information that's hit the platform. So new things that have been built, or new templates that are available, or how many people have joined the platform. And diving into that in a bit more detail, we've got at the top here sort of platform level statistics of what's available. So apps, templates, things that have been shared, and that's for a specific period or across the whole time. And then down at the bottom there, you've got leaderboards. So we've got a few example leaderboards there that we've innovatively named Queen Bees, Busy Bees, and Newbies to tie in with that hive sort of theme. And that's just relating to sort of the volume of resources that are being contributed, how many people are using them, and maybe a separate leaderboard for all the latest cohort, the newest members of the platform to compare against each other. Then looking at browsing the templates that are available. So again, as I mentioned, ideally we'll integrate AI with this. So when I submit a template and provide some information, it'll help me with suggested tags of what's relevant to the template that I've submitted. And then when people are searching for it, it makes it easy for you to find what relevant things for what you're looking for. Otherwise, it's just what things are available which already use premium licensing, for example, or are targeted for big audience sizes. And then you can find the people that have done something similar in the past. And if I click onto one of those, I've got like a detailed view here. I can see some of the screenshots and see some high-level stats of how it's being used and launched and how many people have downloaded it. And then also report issues with it or submit ideas. But then mainly here, I can request access to the template so I can use it myself. Or if I just want to talk to the person who's built it, if it's not, I don't actually need the whole template. I just want to discuss something with them that they've done specifically. And I can click that button to spin up a Teams chat with them. But the main idea here is we don't always need to start from 0% when we're building something. A lot of the time we can start from 50%, 60%. So it's about just unlocking the ability for our developers to do that. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Thessaly now to cover our demand management tool.
Thank you. The demand management tool is an application which is crafted to enhance organizations' demand processes. We developed this app to solve a common problem, keeping track of all the ideas, backlog, and demands that flow into organization. Without a structured process, it's easy for things to fall through the cracks, and our solution provides a straightforward way to capture, evaluate, and prioritize these inputs, ensuring nothing gets overlooked and resources are used efficiently. It's all about making sure every good idea gets the attention it deserves, and every demand is handled smoothly from scratch until finish. At the heart of our application lies a powerful Power Apps Canvas interface, providing a user-friendly platform for work, and it's integrated with key systems such as Azure DevOps. And of course, it's customizable to integrate with other platforms as per clients' requirements. And let's talk through the functionality. You begin by submitting a demand, and from there, the app guides it through various stages such as approval and delivery. Along the way, you have real time visibility into its progress, and it enables seamless collaboration with your team. Um, Designed for all levels of your organizations, from account managers overseeing strategy to team leads coordinating tasks and market users providing their insights. This app ensures that everyone has the tools they need to manage demands effectively. But what if you like the idea but aren't sure if you need exactly this functionality? No worries, we can customize the app that match your company's unique processes and terms. In fact, we've already built around 5 different versions of demand management apps, and each version started with the simple idea of submitting demands and evolving into comprehensive tools covering complex staging, approval systems, and demand assessment and qualification. Additionally, we usually develop a Power BI reports to complement this tool, providing valuable analytics insights. In short, our demand management app is not just a tool, it's a comprehensive solution to help your organization work smarter and faster.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll start to conclude now. As WM Reply, we have plenty of experience in working with clients and guiding them through their journey at whatever stage they are in the Power Platform roadmap. Um, we've developed, you've probably seen this in past webinars that we've done, we've developed a high level framework for organizations to adopt, and our are really in 2 phases. One, you have technical implementation, which we've covered some topics here, and the other is adoption and change management. So this approach has worked very well for us and allows you guys to provide you with a high level outlook and the roadmap on the priorities that you should really be focusing on. I think the COE and governance is overwhelming, and in this webinar, we've really only touched on a small percentage of topics, and there are plenty more discussions to be had. Get in touch with us, and we can work with you to perform a 5-day assessment to undertake a Power Platform health check. So in this 5-day assessment or health check, we will make sure we'll complete the following sort of deliverables for you. We'll obviously have a look at a customized COE starter kit. We'll sort of review what you already have and provide improvements. We'll also look at your strategy, your environment strategy, and have a look at ways of pinpointing areas of weakness, perhaps, and also look at improvements. And we'll also create a high-level roadmap on some of the things that maybe you should be considering. Obviously, there's other tools like Copilot Studio, Power Automate Desktop that you need to include within your COE. They don't quite play ball in the same way as Canvas apps and Power Automate, so you may have to adjust how you manage your compliance process or you manage your housekeeping process. So you may have different approaches for each tool in the Power Platform stack. And obviously, Toby and Vasilina has already showed you some of more bespoke solutions that we've created and we've crafted at WM Reply for our clients. So obviously, we'll showcase a few more that perhaps would be of value to you. So let us know if you have any questions. But that pretty much concludes the webinar for today. And if you have any questions, just let us know in the chat. But yeah, thanks for attending.